You can either be a fly on the wall and do what the rich people do what the rich nations do. Again, do what entire nations have been doing, at least the Eastern nations. Or you can sit back and listen to the mainstream Western point of view, media, government combined, and think everything's fine and who cares about what these people over there are doing. I'm going to do what they're doing. They're buying precious metals? Yep, I want to buy precious metals. And they've been doing it for years. And now all of a sudden, according to Zero Hedge, Asia's richest man. Now I notice he didn't say one of Asia's richest men. It says Asia's richest man is aggressively adding direct exposure to gold. Why? Because he loves gold. Authored by Max Lavo at shtfplan.com. The world is awash in crisis, with wars looming, economies crashing, and revolutions brewing. Doomsday bunkers sales are soaring, and individuals from coast to coast are getting ready for whatever tomorrow may bring. Moreover, even governments like China and Russia are preparing, having gone so far as to create their own exchange mechanism to trade directly with gold in the event of a global currency crisis or financial meltdown. But since we got past 2008 and 9, the last recession, and we're way past recovery now, there's no need for them to do that. I mean, right? Everything's fine. The debt's lower than it was, right? Credit card debt's lower than it was, correct? Student loan debt's lower. People are defaulting less, right? Oh, wait, no. Today must be opposite day because everything I just told you is backwards. Massive amounts of debt have been created since then across the world. But it's not just governments who have taken notice of the problems facing the globe. According to gold mining chairman Amir Adnani and Sprott U.S. Holdings CEO Rick Rule, some of the biggest billionaire investors on the planet are actively seeking out precious metals like gold, which would include silver, as wealth protection insurance amid the uncertainty of the current geopolitical climate. In a recent interview with Sean from the SGT report, Adnani explains that several super wealthy individuals with whom he works very closely, including mainland China's biggest billionaire investor and the richest man in all of Asia, Li Ka-shing. That's an interesting. Li Ka-shing, like cashing in? Li cashing in on gold? Li Ka-shing have a renowned and urgent interest in diversifying their assets into both gold mining firms and the physical asset itself. This individual's net worth is about $35 billion for the first time in a number of years of working with his team when it comes to investments in commodities that they believe were important to the strategic growth of China. For the first time, they are looking for gold-related investments. And I have to stop for 1 second. Guess what? You probably never heard this before. I was eating lunch with Frank today. And while we were backing into the wing house to park, we had the AM station on, which we always have on when we're listening to, talk radio, whatever. And anyways, commercial was on. Something about silver investment. And we're talking, but we can both kind of hear, such silver. Find out why. 2 or 3 examples of why we think $200 silver is going to be coming soon. Calling that. Frank, did you just hear that? Yes, I did. I just heard $200 silver. I said, that's the first time I think I have ever in my life heard an advertisement, TV or radio, in this case radio, that said a number that normally is outrageous. $200. So get out of here. That's never going to happen, Jason Niport. And it's now on the radio. I'm going to remind you of something Cliff High said, which has been some of his reports, but he said it vocally numerous times. You're going to see radio advertisements, TV advertisements, and you're also going to see people on the side of the road like we have seen many times. We buy gold here, buy gold now. You're going to start seeing them for silver. We buy silver now, come here, buy, sell, trade, whatever. you're going to start seeing those signs. So when I heard today on the radio for the first time ever, such and such as a silver, it's calling out, silver, the future will be $200 an ounce. Why we can show you in 2 or 3 examples why it's going to be 200. Did you just? Yes, I did. We could have been in the most in-depth conversation ever. And when the word silver and any number, Frank and Joe radar on it immediately. Like subconsciously. Couldn't believe it. So anyways, for the first time, they are looking for gold-related investments. The comment from the person heading this initiative for Li Ka-shing is very interesting. His right-hand man said to me, he's not just looking for investing in gold mines. He literally wants to find more ways to take physical gold back to Hong Kong and have that exposure. This is the largest individual investor in mainland China, and I tell you, over the last few years of having worked with him on the energy side, this is the first time I have seen him so aggressively looking for gold-related opportunities. You know what I would do if I was him? Go to one of these American brokers, place a bunch of orders, futures contracts, gold contracts on the paper market, and immediately demand delivery. Here's your money in full. I want all these contracts delivered. Thank you. You need some more? Let's do it again. Drain that criminal fraud enterprise dry. That's what I'd like for him to do. Is he going to do that? Probably not a chance in hell. In the full interview, insiders Amiri Adnani and Rick Rule share their experiences working with other large investors, current strategies, and expectations of what's to come. And there's a little video here. Again, I'll always link this. The reason for why these high net worth individuals are rapidly moving into gold-related assets, notes Adnani, is that they are not necessarily all that concerned with the current price and how high it may go in the future, but rather because precious metals are backed with thousands of years of evidence that they are the asset of last resort during crises. He says that's one. The second one, we're very fortunate at gold mining. One of the board members of our company, who has been a founder of the company since day one, is Brazilian billionaire by the name of Mario Garnero. When I look at the level of interest that his organization has in terms of wanting that direct exposure to gold, I talked to them about why they are looking at this. They're focused on one factor that we seldom think about. We're so fixated on gold price. What they're focused on, what the super wealthy are focused on, what the billionaires are focused on, is the fact that gold plays that hedge in your portfolio. That's the insurance in the portfolio. It may not necessarily be as critical to think whether it's $1,200 an ounce or $1,300 an ounce. We fixate so much on the price. And we forget that irrespective of what it's trading at on any given day, it's meant to be an insurance policy. It's meant to be protection of wealth and preservation of wealth. It's a great reminder when you look at the first trading day after Brexit. I remember looking at my own portfolio and looking at the market, and everything is red. The Dow is down over 500 points. The only thing up are gold stocks. But while insurance and wealth preservation are the key motivating factor for the super wealthy, another billionaire, Sprott U.S. Holdings CEO Rick Rule, says that even a tiny boost in investor demand could drive prices to new highs from here as investors stampede into hard asset stocks and physical holdings as the current bull market gains steam. He says, let me give you a startling statistic that tells you what an awakening might do. Physical precious metals, certificated precious metals, and precious metals equities occupy about 1/3 of 1% of the savings of investment assets in the U.S. The corresponding number at the top of the last bull market, the real bull market in 1981, was 8%. 1/3 of 1% is now. 8% was when it was back then at the top. I'm not suggesting to you that gold and precious metals related investments will ever get back to 8%. He's not. But I think I am. And I think it's going to go a lot higher. But I would suggest to you that they will, in this bull market, approach the 3-decade median, which was 1.5%. If that occurred, you would see a more than 4-fold increase in demand for precious metals and precious metals related equities, I think that could be reasonably dramatic. Oh, you mean like the Webbot said? Absolute sheer panic to get to precious metals possessions in your hand, get those metals in your hand. Sheer panic, silver, gold, people finding old spoons and forks from great grandma that might be 90%, sterling silver, anything. I'm in a panic to get it. Maybe. I'm not one of these doom and gloom guys who says that gold is going to win the war against the U.S. dollar. But if gold lost the war a little less badly, in other words, if gold and gold equities market shares got up to 1.5% of the investment savings matrix of the U.S., that would represent a fourfold increase in demand, which of course is massive. The world is primed for a serious, potentially devastating collapse of life as we know it that may come with war, economic collapse, or both simultaneously. What we know from history is that those who prepared ahead of time and understood the ramifications of such events were positioned to not only survive, but to thrive. The high net worth individuals who are moving into gold-related assets see the writing on the wall, and they are positioning themselves now to ensure their wealth will be preserved. We strongly encourage you to do the same, Zero Hedge says. How many times have I had to talk about this topic? Hope you got your precious metals. Hope you got your metals. Hope you got your silver. If you get gold, you'll be happy with it, but I think you'll be really happy with silver on a performance, percentage basis of how well it does. And to look at the number of percent of a percent is what's in there now. Can you imagine when people start getting nervous in flight into that safe haven? And he's just suggesting maybe if we see the median 1.5%, that'll still be 4 times what the demand for metals are now. And again, each year I look at the sales of silver coins and bullion and stuff, same with gold too, but there's a trend. More and more and more sales. Bigger and bigger, bigger numbers. So can you imagine when people get real nervous? And I know they're going to be flooding into Bitcoin too, they have. But there's going to be people who say, well, I don't know even how to use that. It's on my computer. I don't know about that. I'm going to go with what 5,000 years of history said. I'm going back to gold and silver. You're going to have a panicked flight to own both of those. But again, I hope you got yours now and you continue to stack while you can. Because the day will come when you won't be telling yourself, it's over $100. I'm not buying any more silver. I'm just going to sit back and wait now. Or you may say, if it's at $100, I thought that was impossible. Man, these guys who talked about $200, $300, $400 silver, they may have been onto something. It's still $100. This is going to be like Bitcoin when it was $250 and went to $1,000. Well, damn it, at $100 an ounce, I guess I'm going to go buy some more. Because if it's $200, $300, $400, I'll triple, quadruple my money. Oh, man, it happens every time. We're only human. We think the same things for the same reasons in the same way. And I don't want to be thinking those things then. I want to be thinking them now, well in advance, before the herd gets there. And I'll be one of the ones, when the price is right, selling to the herd. Hey, I know we look alike, we're all humans, but I'm not part of your herd. Matter of fact, I'm part of a special cool kids herd that saw this coming way in advance. And I've got a million videos on YouTube to prove this to you, in case you're wondering. I knew this was going to happen, and I'm going to gladly sell you this coin. And as crazy as the price is today, the spot price, and then there's this massive premium on top of it, because I'm feeling kind of good today, and I bought my house cash with some silver, and all my debts paid off, and I went ahead and got my 2010 or 11 ex-police Tahoe PPV, police pursuit vehicle auction car. Bought that with cash for my silver sales, and I'm feeling real good right now while everyone's suffering. I'm not going to charge you nearly as much premium. I'm still going to charge you a little premium, but I'm not going to charge you nearly as much premium as anyone else because I still care at least a little bit. So here you go. Come back and see me when you're ready to do another transaction. Take care. That's how that's going to go. It's not going to be a good day when that happens, at least for most people. But it might be a real good day for JSTIP4 and for you guys and for everyone else who saw this coming in advance and prepared for it. And now we got the Asian's richest man. I want to get into metals. All of a sudden, abruptly, and not just metals, mining companies too, which is another thing I've been talking about this year and even last year, actually, because Webbot talked about it. You're going to see metal mining companies skyrocket, and then they'll come back down. And that's exactly what happened in 2016. At the end of 2015, he said, watch what happens, and they freaking skyrocketed, and then they came back down. So if you want to play the market, so to speak, again, get some of the junior miners. But anyways, another day in paradise, I suppose, right? So take care.